Someone has suggested, or rather it has been said, that the only reason I like Supras is because I am young and stupid. I'm flattered, honestly, but those things are not related. Okay, jump in, I gotta tell you a story. Here we go. When I was a teenager, a student at the University of Maryland, I got a job working in automotive. As soon as I started working as a sales writer, writing up service tickets, I wanted to know more about what was happening in the shop, because if I couldn't communicate clearly what was happening to the car to the customer, things would go sideways really quickly. And people can be cruel to retail sales associates. Whenever it was quiet up front and busy in the back, I would go pick up tickets like tires, batteries, oil changes, and the guys in the shop showed me how to do all of the work, and it took some of the load off of them, so everyone was happy with me doing this. About half of the guys back there were actually car people and cared about cars. Half of them were there for the paycheck and did not care. But the ones who cared about cars always had a dream car, a dream build, something they wanted to drive, and I got into that culture as well. So I thought about what my dream car, dream build, dream drive would be, and I had settled on a very specific car. So one night, as sometimes happen, my boss invited a few of us out. We go to the Last Chance Saloon, and in the course of conversation, dream cars come up. And he says, "Oh, you have a dream car? What's your dream car?" And I proudly said, "I want to build up a 1972 Chevy Camaro." This man looked at me like this. He says, "Why do you want to build a Camaro?" But I had a rationale worked out. My mother had bought a 77 Camaro for like $400, but it was a rust bucket. It was absolute garbage. And it died before I ever got a chance to drive it. But it was a cool car. And I think the 1972 body style looked a lot nicer than the 77. That's just my opinion. You can have your own opinion. And the engine bay is huge. Like, you could swap in a Corvette 454 if you want to, and that thing would outrun anything but a gas station. And he says, "Okay, well, why do you want a V8? And I said, "Because there's no replacement for displacement." And he goes, "Oh, okay, you're an idiot." And then he decided to drill down a little deeper. And he said, "No, really, why do you want a V8 instead of a six-cylinder?" And I said, "Because that's where you get power. More power, more good. Power means go fast. I don't know what to tell you, man. I want a big engine and I want to go fast." He was like, "I think you don't really understand cars yet." Okay. He said, "What's the problem with a V8 engine?" I'm like, "I don't know, man, you tell me." He said, "The problem with a V8 engine is that it's not balanced. As the engine is firing, there's a natural motion that's created by the cylinders going. So not only is it vibrating, but it's also creating this yaw, which means if you have a V8 engine that's producing a lot of power, you need structure around it to contain that power, which means your car gets heavier, which means you start losing the value of having high horsepower because it's being eaten up by the weight of the car." He said, "Okay, so you like a muscle car. That's fine. But you need something reliable, otherwise you're going to wind up working on it on the weekend instead of driving it and enjoying it." Okay, fair dues. You should get a Japanese muscle car. I was like, okay. At that time, I really did not know much about Japanese muscle cars or sports cars. And my boss sat back in his seat and he thought about it for a second, and as if a light bulb went off over his head, he said, "You need a Supra. That's the car for you. It's an inline six, so it's balanced. You want more power, it's got a twin turbo. That's the car that you will enjoy driving because it's fast, it's reliable, it's going to go 200,000 miles before it needs serious work. That's it. You need a Supra." Now, at that time, the Supra was already off the market, so it was used cars only. But I had already said I wanted a 72 Camaro, so that wasn't a big deterrent. And then, as if by kismet, maybe a week later, an actual Supra came to the shop. I think it came in for like a tire. It was perfect. It was the 2JZ GTE twin turbo. It had the 6-speed manual. The paint was pearl white, black interior. It looked sleek as hell. It had the TRD style spoiler, so a little bit more square. You know how sometimes when you're watching a movie, there will be a scene where the main character sees their future wife and everything kind of slows down and the camera just pans over and there's beautiful music playing in the background? That is what happened when this car drove in front of me. I saw it go like I was watching the love of my life. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've been looking for that specific car ever since. This car is extremely close. This is a JDM import, so it's right-hand drive. Got used to driving that pretty quickly. It is an RZ, so 2JZ, GTE. It's got the V160 6-speed manual. This is basically everything I've ever wanted, and it's Alpine Silver. Like, it's a pretty snazzy car. And it took a long time to put together the money for it. Now, I personally don't think that the Toyota Supra should be going for over $100,000, mostly because I want to buy more. But, you know what they say, it's what the market will tolerate. This car was not $100,000, but to me, it kind of feels like $1 million. Anyway, I'm not sure if this story has a moral. If the story has a moral, it's probably that you should be open to learning new things and you should be willing to change your mind. I have enjoyed every minute that I've had this car. Driving cross country was an incredible experience. Driving cross country solo in a dream car is it's a hell of a thing. I feel very #blessed. Yeah, anyway, the joke now is that this car is my precious baby angel princess who never does anything wrong, except it is a 30-year-old car and I do have to do some pretty heavy maintenance sometimes, so you know, take it all with a grain of salt. Anyway, thanks for being here. Maybe I'll do more car stuff if you like that. Don't give up your dreams. Go chase them down. I guess maybe the other moral of the story is that even if it takes you 20 years to achieve your dream, it's still worth pursuing. Okay? All right, I love you. Bye.